We live in a world now where it's less expensive to say I'm a prostitute than to say I'm a virgin. And some of your attackers will come from church. If you see their profile, Zion's daughter, Imago Dei. Harlot 3, there is a well-favored harlot. This harlot is well-favored. But this well-favored harlot is the mistress of witchcraft. Many of you do not know that there's a relationship between immorality and witchcraft. Mistress of witchcraft. Now, where I'm going is the next phrase. That sells nations. How does she sell nations? Through her whoredoms. And sells families. How does she sell families? Through her witchcraft. So there is a place where they sell and buy nations. And there is a place where they sell and buy families. But if they want to sell a nation, it is whoredom they use. Immorality. You remember that's what they did to Israel with Moab? You remember? When Balaam came to curse Israel and said there's no enchantment against Jacob and there's no divination in Israel, he said, I have received a commandment to bless. The Lord has blessed and I cannot curse. Balak said, no. So when the curse did not work, what did they eventually use? Whoredom. They used immorality. Balaam now called Balak aside and said, well, there's another way to achieve this thing you are trying to do against Israel. You see, you want me to place a curse upon them so that they will become weak and then you will be able to conquer them. But if we get them to start to commit immorality, you will not need to even fight them. They will not need to be weak. Their own God will become their enemy. Balak said, for real? Balaam said yes. So that's where the phrase daughters of Moab, that's where it came from. The daughters of Moab. With their tinkrets, they painted their faces. Well, let's not go there so that you will not think I'm after you. There is something in the Bible that is called the attire of a harlot. The daughters of Moab were now recruited and they were given specialized uniforms to wear. And what was the goal? The goal was they were supposed to dress to slay. What the curses of Balaam could not do, the dressing of the daughters of Moab was going to do it. They were models. And you may not realize, I didn't say that they sewed your uniform under the water. That's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying that was where the design was inspired from. That's all I'm saying. There is a mistress, a well-favored harlot that is behind some of the things in your wardrobe. Oh, you think that everything that is going on in the West, you think it's just civilization. It's not. Trade by barter has happened. Balak simply unleashed them upon the camp of the Israelites. You know, they are women, they are ladies. You cannot, if you see ladies coming harmless, the code of war, even war requires that you don't touch women, you don't touch children. Somebody is unarmed, you cannot shoot at the person. So these daughters of Moab, you know, when they do that thing, their hand cannot stay by their side. It has to be halfway up, like the feather of a dog. 5 colors on the 5 fingers. 5 fingernails, 5 different colors. That was how they seduced the men of Israel. And the men of Israel began to eat food offered to the idols, the gods of Moab, and began to commit immorality with the daughters of Moab. You know what happened? God slew them. You remember at one point, Moses, Aaron, the elders of Israel, they were all weeping before the Lord. You remember that occasion? They were on their faces weeping as people were dying. A man of Israel took a daughter of Moab while people were trying to beg God to have mercy. Still took a daughter of Moab and went into his tent to go and commit immorality. Then, you remember what happened? Phinehas took a javelin. I know you people, javelin, you know it's a game. And he followed. and he waited to have evidence. He snuck upon them in the tent. The Bible says he thrust the javelin and pinned them to the ground. Both of them died. That thing he did was what took away the rod. God's anger was pacified and the death stopped. There's a well-favored harlot that sells nations, and he uses immorality to sell them. They might call it civilization, they might call it coming of age. I'd like for you to know that you are being traded.